If there's one Yellowjackets mystery that could rival Pit Girl, it's the true identity of the Antler Queen. And no, I'm not talking about Natalie wearing the antlers in Season 3, Episode 4 during the trial. I mean the final form of the Antler Queen, the one we see in the pilot with her face hidden, probably very conveniently so for the writers, long, dark strands of hair hanging from her wardrobe, and of course, there's the antler crown, a symbol that has come to define the most terrifying part of the Yellowjackets' time in the wilderness. Through 3 seasons, my working theory has stayed the same. Lottie Matthews is the true Antler Queen. The term Antler Queen never actually appeared in the original script for Yellowjackets. That's a name we as a fandom gave this person. In early drafts of the scripts, the writers and producers actually referred to her as the shaman or the oracle. So what is a shaman? A spiritual guide, a spiritual leader, a healer, someone with deep knowledge of medicine, rituals, and visions. And that perfectly describes Lottie Matthews. From the very beginning, she's had visions, an undeniable connection to the wilderness, and a growing influence over the group. In Season 3, she's actively guiding Travis and Aquila through psychedelic rituals, helping them hear and listen to the wilderness. And we know that as an adult, she never stopped practicing spiritual healing, she just transitioned it into her wellness retreat, when she was still living, of course. In Season 2, Lottie deliberately told the group that Nat should be their leader. Lottie believed that the wilderness chose Natalie to lead, so she stepped aside and bowed to Natalie. But us as the viewers do know that while Nat is the technical leader, a majority of the girls respect and listen to Lottie. Lottie is obviously the group's spiritual leader, whether she acknowledges it or not. Think about television shows or movies where the king or queen is the face of leadership, but who do they often turn to for guidance? The religious figure, the mystic, the high priestess, etc. That's the role Lottie fills. I've always believed the Antler Queen wasn't just the leader, she was a spiritual symbol of the wilderness entity itself. Whether we believe there's a wilderness entity or not is for another video. But whether the wilderness is supernatural, manifested from the girls' trauma, or a little bit of both, we do know that in most of the girls' minds, the wilderness exists and Lottie is connected to it. Even though Lottie claims she lost her connection to the wilderness in Season 2, to the others, she's still the most connected of anyone. Even as recent as this season, with Nat as the leader, Lottie is still the one leading the summer solstice ceremony for the dead. She's not the official leader, but she's still guiding them spiritually. And if the Antler Queen is more of a spiritual figurehead than a ruler, who else would fit that role better than Lottie? And after the events of episode 4 and 5, it is clear to me that Shauna is heading towards a hostile takeover of the group. Nat's leadership is crumbling. The girls are falling deeper into darkness. I think Shauna will take over the group for a while, and it will be her influence that devolves them into the feral hunters we saw in the pilot episode. Shauna will lead through fear, bloodshed, and her survival instincts. We've already seen her becoming the most ruthless Yellowjacket and the one losing her humanity the fastest, but eventually the group may realize they don't just need a brutal leader, they need someone who is chosen by the wilderness, someone who is wise, spiritually connected, and able to make sense of the madness around them. Shauna will always be powerful, she'll always be in a position of power, she'll be the butcher, the enforcer, but Lottie will become the Antler Queen, the cloaked figure we saw in the pilot, the final person under the cloak before the girls are saved. So what do you guys think? Do you agree that Lottie is the true Antler Queen, or is there another contender waiting in the shadows? Let me know in the comments.